The trauma that lies behind most overreactions of anger sits inside all of us. Pretty much anytime somebody comes to anger management and they tell me about an overreaction to something where afterwards they feel foolish or ashamed, and I'll ask them, where do you feel that in your body? If you had to point to it, where do you feel it? Often a constriction in the chest, sometimes in the throat, solar plexus, in the belly, sometimes heat rising up, tension in the shoulders, in the back, discomfort. And then the question is, what does that look like or sound like? What does it feel like in there? What are the sensations, the texture, the color, any images that show up? And from that, we can investigate this. And what's the emotional maturity level running us in that moment when we reacted? Really, if we're honest, usually around 2 or 3 or 4. Sometimes 8 or 9, sometimes a young teenager. And it doesn't have to be just one age, it can be multiple ages. But it's like that. And so we can have a conversation with this young part of us. And if we can have that conversation, we can actually switch back and forth between the adult in us, the wise, compassionate adult, and the young child. And if we can take the position of the young child and say, what I really need right now, what I was lacking when I was hurt, when I was traumatized, when I was 4, what I could use is somebody to comfort me, to keep me safe, to tell me that it's going to be okay, that they're going to look after me. Because that's what we need. We need the adult part of us to take charge. When we leave that young part running the show, which is what happens when we lose it, is that young part doesn't do a very good job. They freak out. They act like 4. and then we're embarrassed afterwards. When we look back, we go, oh my God, what did I do? Well, we need to look after this young part. Get to know it. There's nothing wrong with that part. We want to face it, whereas often people will turn away from it, ignore it with the embarrassment and shame that goes along with it. But really, look after that young part in you. Things will turn out better.